Halo Pak Slamet and gue Yanita. We are from Group 5. We are going to discuss about data sampling and data collection in digital discourse analysis. So, let me introduce our group. My name is Bella Yohanita, number 272, and Devita Ardila, number 279, Nabila Fitri, number 296, Azam Musaki, number 286, and Emrahan Firdaus, number 273. Okay, so today we're gonna talk about what is digital discourse analysis. I'm going to explain the definition. So DDA is a research project examining how language is utilized in online environments and how it influences social interactions, identities, and meanings. This analysis is particularly relevant in the context of the internet and social media, where communication practices have evolved significantly. In terms of quantitative analysis, DDA employs various methods to systematically investigate digital communication. The key quantitative techniques include 1. Frequency count, which is measuring how often specific words, phrases, or themes appear in a dataset to identify trends in communication. 2. Statistical analysis is applying statistical tests to explore relationships between different variables within the discourse data. And last is corpus analysis, which is analyzing large collections of text or corpora to observe patterns over time and across different contexts. Okay, next is data sampling. Data sampling is a statistical technique used to select, manipulate, and analyze a representative subset of data points from a larger dataset. This approach allows researchers and analysts to identify patterns, trends, and insights without having to process the entire dataset. The selected sample is expected to reflect the characteristics of the larger population, enabling accurate predictions and analysis while saving time and resources.
Okay, my name is Muhammad Rehan Firdaus with student number 273. Today I'm going to talk about the data sampling techniques in digital discourse analysis, like with the general sampling techniques like stratified, snowballs, convenience, and etc. The technique used in digital discourse analysis depends on their research question. There are 5 techniques that we conclude. It is platform-based, and group or community-based, then user-centric based, content-based, and temporal-based analysis. So let's start from the first is platform-based. The research that aims for analyzing specific platforms based on their research question, like discussing about Facebook Reels algorithms and how they provide the related and interested topic for their users. So this technique used when the research question focus on the specific platforms like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and etc. Like talking about their users' interactions, features, settings, and the others. Second is group or community based. This technique focusing on specific group, discussing what topic they usually discuss and what are their purpose with the community. Depends on research questions and research targets. For instance, how Pandawara's members' reaction about the society they had been held. Basically, this technique covering the specific part of a community that want to be discussed by the researchers. So this is talking about the community. Next is user-centric, or we can call a popular person base. The technique focusing on someone that can be very popular or hot topic that trending on social media. For example, like why do we need to carefully about citation from the famous lecturers? Or talking about Mike Tyson or Muhammad Ali, perhaps talking about their techniques and the others. So this one is focusing on person, like what methods is used in making a citation, or Like the example of Mike Tyson and Muhammad Ali, what boxing techniques they use and the reason behind it. So it depends on the researcher's aims or targets. Then the content-based technique. This technique is oftenly found when there are specific events happening. Like in the past, we had 2 years holiday because of COVID-19 and today's news about RUTNI. Okay, for example, the impact of COVID-19 to society activities. We can conclude that the technique is covering all content that related to the COVID-19. So the researchers aims the COVID-19 in with the detailed informations about what happened in there and what the cause and effect. So that's related to the event. And the last is process or temporal base. Last is the process or temporal base, the technique that focus on the process. Like for the example in COVID-19, the process of the teaching learning, for example, teaching learning in the past is use offline meeting like meeting in the classroom, meet each other between student and teacher. But when COVID-19 pandemic happened in the past, so the teaching learning activities between student and teachers become online using platform like Google Meeting and Zoom Meeting. This one is focusing on its process of something that be the research question, like comparing the previous one or the past and the present events. So, like for another example, like language contact in the past and the present. In the past, we usually use Malaysian, not Malay. I mean Melayu. So now we we use our own language is Bahasa Indonesia. So there are process in there when we change from the Melayu language become Bahasa Indonesia. So it's like the process. And that's all from me. The next topic will be presented by my friend. Thank you.
Okay, so what is data collection? According to the Kabir 2016, data collection is the process of gathering and measuring information on variable of interest in an established systematic fashion that enables one to answer stated research questions, test hypotheses and ideas, and evaluate outcomes. The data collected can be qualitative, which using descriptive information, or quantitative, which is numerical data, depending on the research objective. So the researchers must determine whether they will collect qualitative data to explore concepts and experience, or quantitative data to measure variable and test hypotheses. And the next is the goal for all data collection is to capture quality evidence that then translate to rich data analysis, and it allows the building of a convincing and credible answer to questions that have been posed. So, in simple way, good data collection ensures that the information gathered is meaningful, accurate, and useful for drawing solid conclusions. So now you know about the definition of data collection in general. Next, we will explain about the data collection techniques in digital discourse analysis, and it will be explained by my partner.
Okay guys, previously my partner Azar had explained the definition of data collection. Now, let's discuss in more detail about data collection techniques in digital discourse analysis. If you look at the PPT, in this context, we have 6 techniques for analysis: ethnographic approach, corpus linguistic, multimodal discourse analysis, conversation analysis, critical discourse analysis, and metadata collection. And then, let me explain in more detail for each technique. And in the first, guys, we have ethnographic approach. Here you can say that it is a technique of approach and involvement of the researcher in the things that they want to research. For example, like the researchers want to know how the response and action of literature offer toward the declining interest in literacy. So, the researcher tries to enter the literacy community, become part of it by participating in all the community activity, and then, from there, the researcher can observe and research directly. Then in the second, there is a corpus linguistics. This technique is usually used for quantitative analysis. In this technique, guys, researchers collect a large amount of text data from digital platforms. It will be used to identify patterns, words frequent, and collocation. For example, from Indonesian Gelap hashtag, a linguistic collect tweets containing the hashtag to study the frequency and context of the word gelap itself. In the third point, there is a multimodal discourse analysis. This method examines of how language interact with other media, such as image, emojis, video, and other in digital communities. For example, like we analyzing Instagram posts regarding the meaning of caption combined with emoji and hashtag. Next is conversation analysis. In this context of digital discourse, conversation analysis examines and understands how people take turns replying to tweets, responding to them, and how strategies are used in online conversation. This technique is useful for analyzing how people resolve disputes in the digital sphere. Furthermore, in the fifth point, there is critical discourse analysis. Basically, the critical discourse analysis, or CDA, helps us uncover patterns of inequality and bias hidden in online communication. It's like taking a closer look at the power dynamics at play in our digital life. And by understanding those power dynamics, we can start thinking about how to create more inclusive and equitable online space. So it's all about thinking critical about the language we see online and asking ourselves, like, who benefits from this, or who is being left out. And the last one is metadata collection, guys. Basically, metadata help us go beyond just the word people are using. It helps us connect language use to real-world event, geographic location, and the characteristics of the people who are communicating. It adds a whole extra layer of understanding to our digital discourse analysis. Alright, guys. So we have talking about a bunch different techniques for collecting data when we were study digital discourse. And actually, in practice, researchers often combine multiple techniques for comprehensive analysis. Like, for example, ethnography and conversation analysis, and then corpus linguistic and metadata, then multimodal and analysis, critical discourse analysis. And let me elaborate the example, what it's like. First is ethnography plus conversation analysis is like observing interaction in an online forum while analyzing specific traits for conversation pattern. And then corpus linguistic plus metadata is like building corpus of blog posts and using metadata to study language variation across age group. And the last is multimodal analysis plus critical discourse analysis is like examine TikTok's video to explore how creators use visual to text to challenge stereotypes like that. But guys, you need to know that the choice of techniques depends on the research question and the nature of the digital platform being studied. From intense platforms like Twitter lend themselves well to corpus-based study due to their concise text format. And then for visual heavy platforms like Instagram or TikTok require multimodal analysis. By combining qualitative and quantitative methods, researchers can gain deeper insight into complexities of digital discourse.
Okay, now let's take a look at one of the examples of digital discourse analysis study that we have found here. So this is the research question that we have listed here. Basically, the research question is about how media technology can enhance the learning process of students in class, especially in the context of learning other language. And the researchers collected the data of the participants from the students of the fourth year education bachelor degree in translation, aged around 20 until 21 years old, both male and females, and then they are Ukrainian people. And the other requirements is that they have visited classes of the English language and translation for a year, and watched video courses, created PowerPoint presentation, have listened to the audio files, and then they have searched the internet and filled in the data of the questionnaire, representing the results of their learning. The study finds that modern technology in ASL learning is effective and informative. Teachers can implement ICT media and technologies in the learning process as innovative tools and methods for improvement of ASL learning. And another key concern of this study is that video and visual is playing an important role on enhanced student imagination. It is also can develop student creative thinking and demonstration of gained knowledge. Web resources and the internet are two basic pillars which sustain the modern learning process. The study concludes that with the help of technologies and internet, the modern teacher can facilitate and improve the ESL learning process. The modern ESL teachers should be open to innovations, ready for experiments, welcoming change and use of technologies in the name of their student success, and they can teach grammar and lexics, improve the ways of writing, speaking, and communicating. It is one of the vital importance to be in the foreground of the modern learning environment. Appealing to the student creativity, their abilities of critical analysis and interactivity will facilitate the learning process for sure. So related to our material today about data sampling and data collection techniques in digital discourse analysis, this study uses platform-based techniques that aim for analyzing digital platforms such as online website, internet video or digital video visualization in enhancing modern learning for students in the context of language acquisition.
And for the data collection techniques, through ethnographic approaches, the researchers collected the data by observing and engaging with students to understand their learning process. Online questionnaires also used to analyze which digital media are the best in enhancing student language learning. And that's all from our group 5. I hope our material could be beneficial to you. Thank you for your attention. Bye bye.